What if I told you that the hardest part about turning 80 isn't what you think it is? It's not the aching joints or the slower steps. It's not even the medications or the doctor visits. It's the silence. The silence that fills the spaces where laughter used to live. The empty chair at your kitchen table where someone special used to sit. The phone that rings less and less until some days it doesn't ring at all. I'm here today because someone needs to talk honestly about aging loneliness. Not to frighten you, but to prepare you. Because when you understand what's coming, you can face it with grace instead of surprise. If you're over 70, approaching 80, or caring for someone who is, this conversation is for you. We're going to walk through 5 realities about loneliness after 80 that no one wants to discuss, but everyone needs to understand. Stay with me until the end, because while some of these truths may sting, they also hold the key to something beautiful, the power to reshape your final chapters with intention, connection, and hope. Let's begin. The first reality hits quietly, like morning fog rolling in. One day you look around and realize that your world has grown smaller, not by choice, but by circumstance. Margaret, 83, described it to me perfectly. It's like watching your life become a smaller and smaller circle. First, it was my work friends when I retired. Then my neighbors started moving to assisted living. My bridge club dwindled from 8 to 3. And now, she paused, looking out her window. Now I sometimes go 3 days without a real conversation. This isn't about people not caring. It's about life's natural rhythm at this stage. Friends pass away. Adult children get busy with their own aging concerns. Grandchildren grow up and move away for college, careers, and their own families. The social fabric that once held your days together begins to thin, thread by thread. What makes this particularly painful is that it happens gradually. You don't wake up one morning completely alone. Instead, you slowly realize that Tuesday's lunch with Sarah isn't happening anymore because Sarah moved to Florida. The weekly phone call with your sister becomes monthly, then occasional. The church friends who used to invite you to their homes now mainly see you during Sunday service, if at all. Dr. Sarah Chen, a geriatrician who specializes in elderly mental health, explains it this way. Social networks naturally contract as we age, but after 80, this contraction accelerates. It's not just about losing people, it's about losing the structures that created natural social interaction. But here's what you need to know. Recognizing this pattern gives you power over it. You can't stop all the changes, but you can stop being passive about connection. If this resonates with you, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel. We're here to walk through these challenging topics together, and your support helps us continue creating content that speaks to your real experiences. The key is shifting from waiting for connection to creating it. The second reality about loneliness after 80 is this. Making friends requires energy, and energy becomes your most precious resource. Remember when you were younger and could work a full day, then meet friends for dinner, stay up talking until midnight, and still feel refreshed the next morning? At 80, a single social outing can require a full day of recovery. I met Robert, 84, at a senior center. He told me, I want to join the book club, go to the potluck dinners, maybe even take that painting class. But by the time I've done my morning routine, managed my medications, and made it through grocery shopping, I'm too tired to be good company for anyone. This creates a cruel cycle. The less energy you have for social activities, the more isolated you become. The more isolated you become, the more your world shrinks. And the smaller your world becomes, the less motivation you have to reach out. But understanding this reality means you can work with it instead of against it. It means being strategic about your social energy. Instead of trying to maintain every connection at the same intensity, you learn to prioritize. Maybe you can't attend every family gathering, but you make sure to be present for the ones that matter most. Maybe you can't talk on the phone for hours like you used to, but you can send a short, heartfelt text or card. Patricia, 86, learned this lesson well. She told me, I used to exhaust myself trying to be everywhere for everyone. Now I choose quality over quantity. I have coffee with one close friend every Tuesday, call my daughter every Thursday evening, and attend church every Sunday. That's my social schedule, and it sustains me. The wisdom here is profound. At 80, connection isn't about quantity, it's about intention. The third reality is perhaps the most frustrating. People begin to make assumptions about what you want, what you can do, and who you are. Family members stop inviting you to events, assuming you won't want to come, or that it would be too much for you. Friends your own age decline invitations on your behalf, saying things like, "Oh, Helen wouldn't enjoy that kind of thing anymore." Even well-meaning caregivers and service providers can trap you in a bubble of assumed limitations. They speak louder than necessary, make decisions for you, or talk about you as if you're not in the room. Eleanor, 87, shared this story. "My granddaughter was planning her wedding. The whole family was involved in choosing flowers, venues, menu items. Everyone except me. When I asked about it, my daughter said, 'Oh, Mom, we didn't want to burden you with all those details.' Burden me? Planning that wedding would have been the highlight of my year." This assumption barrier creates loneliness in a particularly painful way. It's not just that you're alone, it's that others have decided you should be alone for your own good. The antidote to this reality is simple but requires courage. You must advocate for yourself. You must speak up about what you want, what you can do, and who you still are. This means saying, "I'd like to be included in that decision." It means responding to, "We didn't think you'd be interested," with, "Actually, I am very interested. Please tell me more." It means showing up when you can and clearly communicating when you can't. If you're watching this and recognize yourself in these stories, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Sharing these experiences helps all of us feel less alone in them. Remember, assumptions thrive in silence. The more you communicate your actual interests and capabilities, the more others will see you as you truly are, not as they imagine you to be. The fourth reality is modern and merciless. Technology has become the primary way people connect, and if you can't or won't adapt, you risk being left further behind. Your grandchildren share their lives on social media platforms you've never heard of. Family photos are posted on apps instead of shared in person. Group chats buzz with family news that never makes it to your landline. Video calls replace visits. Even simple things like making restaurant reservations or ordering groceries increasingly require internet skills. Frank, 85, expressed this frustration. "My family lives on their phones. When they visit, they're still looking at their screens. They show me pictures on these tiny devices and get impatient when I ask them to make it bigger. I feel like I'm watching their lives through a window I can't reach." The digital divide isn't just about not knowing how to use technology. It's about feeling excluded from the primary social spaces where your loved ones now gather. But here's an important truth. It's never too late to bridge this gap, even partially. You don't need to master every app or platform. You just need to find one or two ways to connect digitally that work for you. Some seniors find success with simple video calling to see distant grandchildren. Others enjoy looking at photos on tablets, even if they don't post their own. Some discover that voice messaging is easier than typing. The goal isn't to become a technology expert. The goal is to stay connected to the people you love, using whatever tools work for you. Libraries often offer free technology classes for seniors. Many have patient volunteers who will help you one-on-one. Your own family members might be more willing to teach you than you think. They just need to know you're interested in learning. Mary, 83, told me, "I was terrified of that tablet my son gave me. It sat in the drawer for 6 months. Finally, my neighbor showed me how to see pictures of my great-grandchildren who live in California. Now I look forward to those photos every week." It's not perfect, but it's something. The fifth and perhaps most difficult reality is this. Loneliness after 80 is often complicated by grief that accumulates faster than you can process it. By the time you reach your 80s, loss becomes a frequent visitor. Not just the loss of people, though that's certainly part of it. You also grieve the loss of independence, of physical abilities, of familiar places that get torn down or changed beyond recognition. Each loss creates its own loneliness, and they stack upon each other in ways that can feel overwhelming. Dorothy, 88, explained it beautifully. "It's not just that my husband died 2 years ago, though that was the biggest blow. It's also that my arthritis means I can't tend my garden anymore, and that garden connected me to my neighbors. My eyesight means I can't drive to my old church, and that was my main social connection. My hearing makes phone conversations difficult, and that was how I stayed close to my sister." Each loss leads to another kind of loneliness. This compound grief is rarely talked about, but it's incredibly common. Well-meaning people focus on the most obvious loss, perhaps the death of a spouse, without recognizing all the smaller losses that accumulate around it. The important thing to understand is that this kind of complex grief is normal. You're not being dramatic or self-pitying when you feel overwhelmed by multiple losses. You're being human. Healing from compound grief doesn't mean getting over it or moving on. It means learning to carry it with dignity while still remaining open to new sources of connection and meaning. This might mean creating new rituals to honor what you've lost while embracing what remains. It might mean finding different ways to express parts of yourself that still yearn for connection. Support groups for seniors often help because they're filled with people who understand that grief after 80 is rarely simple or single. Professional counselors who specialize in late-life issues can also provide valuable guidance. Now that we've faced these difficult realities together, let's talk about what you can actually do about them. First, create connection opportunities that work for your energy level. This might mean hosting a simple afternoon tea instead of a dinner party, or establishing a regular phone call schedule instead of lengthy visits. The key is consistency over intensity. Second, be proactive about making your needs known. If you want to be included in family decisions, say so. If you'd like help learning to use technology, ask for it. If you're feeling isolated, reach out to one person and be honest about that. Third, consider new forms of community. Senior centers, faith communities, volunteer opportunities, and interest-based groups can all provide connection. Look for activities that match your current abilities and interests, not what you used to do. Fourth, embrace micro-connections. A brief chat with a cashier, a wave to a neighbor, a thank you note to someone who helped you. These small interactions matter more than you might think. If these ideas are helpful to you, I hope you'll subscribe to our channel and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give another person is the knowledge that they're not alone in their struggles. Fifth, consider the possibility of pets or plants. If your living situation allows it, caring for something living can provide both purpose and companionship. Even a small houseplant that needs daily attention can create structure and meaning. Finally, remember that asking for help is not giving up. It's staying engaged. Whether that's help with technology, transportation, household tasks, or simply having someone to talk to, accepting support allows you to preserve your energy for the connections that matter most. As we reach the end of our time together today, I want you to know something important. If you've made it to 80, you are already a survivor. You have weathered decades of change, loss, joy, and challenge. The loneliness you might be experiencing now doesn't erase the strength that brought you this far. These 5 realities we've discussed, the shrinking social circle, the energy challenges, the assumption barriers, the technology gaps, and the compound grief, they're real. They're difficult, but they're not the end of your story. Your presence in this world still matters. Your stories still have value. Your capacity for connection, even if it looks different now than it did at 30 or 50 or 70, is still there. The youngest person watching this video will, if they're fortunate, face these same realities someday. By understanding them now, by talking about them openly, by refusing to hide from the difficult truths of aging, you're not just helping yourself. You're helping create a world where growing older doesn't have to mean growing invisible. So I leave you with this challenge. Choose one small step toward connection this week. Send that text. Make that phone call. Accept that invitation. Ask for that help. Join that group. Learn that new skill. You don't have to transform your entire social life overnight. You just have to refuse to disappear quietly. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. You matter. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. What resonated with you most? What step will you take this week? Your words might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. And remember, we're all in this journey together. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.